Part is getting up all the poop and pee. Without wasting clean bedding.
Okay.
Okay. So I will scrape stuff. You don't want to scrape everything, but stuff that I can tell is obviously dirty, I kind of scrape into the middle. And all this yucky, wet, poopy can come right out. You'll start to be able to tell the difference between clean bedding and wet bedding. And what you do is, like this pile of poop right here, in order to not waste the bedding underneath, you sip it.
You shake it a little bit.
Yeah, you shake it a little bit. And so you scoop up underneath and you shake it. And you'll see I'm kind of throwing the clean, dry stuff out to the edge.
Mm-hmm.
That just kind of gets it out of the way, and you make sure you're getting everything out of the stall. So I'll sift this stuff.
I'm kind of in the line of fire here.
I know you gotta watch out.
I think you're good enough though. I don't have to worry too much.
And some people, I can kind of fling it into the wheelbarrow. While they first start doing it, they may need to tip it like that so they're not making too much of a mess out there. But if you do make a mess out there, you can scrape it up.
Okay. So.
And this is all really wet. You can see it's darker.
Okay.
That's all wet. That's pee. So all that will come up. There's no sifting here. Every single stall is going to be different. You start to get to notice the horses, the different horses kind of keep their stall differently.
Okay.
And this area that I've picked up still has some stuff on the floor, so you can push it with the back of your pitchfork and see how that kind of gets it up.
So that the wet stuff doesn't stay on the floor.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that bad for their hooves?
No, it just,
It's not sanitary.
if the person who mucked the stall before you doesn't get everything up, then you're gonna have more of a job to clean it.
Okay.
So I always tell the kids, if you're not thorough and I'm the next one to muck that stall, it's gonna take me twice as long as it should,
Okay.
because I'm having to clean up after them. Poop out, and the pee spot is nice and clean. We've scraped all that up. So now we need bedding on the floor of the stall, okay? Because we've scraped it all back. So all that stuff that's clean that you scraped off to the edges, you pull back down into the middle. And you want the floor to be covered except at the front of the stall, under the feed bucket, under the water bucket, and right in front here.
Okay.
You don't need bedding.
Okay. So no bedding right.
No, and so just sweep it back. You don't have to sweep it back very far.
And is that just so the bedding doesn't need to be under the feed bucket because they don't?
Yeah, it's a tidiness thing. Under the feed bucket and under the water bucket, I personally like to keep it cleaned out because they can get mold under there. They can get, when they're trying to clean up their feed under their bucket, when they spill it, they can be eating up stuff they shouldn't be, and they don't travel over there, so they don't need bedding there. So it just keeps the stall cleaner.
Okay.
Some barns will have you sweep it, others will just have you pull it back with a pitchfork, but it's good to learn to sweep it. Back of that stall, like the back of that stall, see how it's got some bedding at the back? We do what's called banking the bedding,
Okay.
so that for the next day or two, we'll have bedding in there to pull down.
Okay.
So that blue wheelbarrow right there has bedding in it.
And so you get that wheelbarrow out of the way so you can pull in the clean bedding.
Yes. And the easiest way, see how there's a lip on the front of the stall? If you try to push the bedding into the stall,
Yeah.
you're gonna have a really hard time.
Okay.
So the easiest way to get the wheelbarrow in is to back it.
Okay.
And you can either help each other and have one person lift the front, or you can step over and give a good pull and it bounces right in.
Okay. So that entire
Yeah, so
wheelbarrow
the
is dumped in
entire
here.
wheelbarrow goes there, and you get all the bedding out. Back out. It's much easier to get out when it's empty. And then you just take the pitchfork and you do what's called banking the bedding. You make a bank of bedding along the back of the stall. It's important to do this to get it nice and close to the back, because once the horse is in here, if the bedding is coming out to here, they'll walk through it and waste it. So we want it back there until we need it. And then tomorrow when I muck this stall, I'll have that bedding that I can pull down.
Gotcha.
And it's important to look in, not just look to see how high the water is, but to look in, because one of these buckets has a whole lot of hay and some leftover food in it.
Okay.
This one is full and has one little sprig of hay that I can pull out, but it looks pretty good.
Okay.
And so we take it off. We take it out here. And I like to shake it a little bit just to get all the stuff. And then when you dump, I'm coming right at you.
Okay. Okay, this way.
When you dump it, see how I made a big spray? I didn't dump it right here and make a puddle.
Right.
If you come out and dump them all right here, you've got a big old puddle that everybody's having to walk through.
Okay.
So you want to put some energy into it and really dump it.
Get it out there.
Yep. And then you'll see, this one's nice and clean because we cleaned them all the other day.
Okay.
They'll get this slime on the inside of them. If they're really yucky and slimy, we have some brushes we can use to just swish them out. So, coil up the hose. You want to make nice big loops.
So you should just be able to pull it off and have it come off section by section.
Yeah, and that's the important thing when you take it off. You want to take it off section by section. What some people do is they take off the whole thing.
Gotcha.
They'll stick their arm under and drop the whole hose on the ground, and then when they go to use it, it gets all tangled up.
Okay.
So what I do is I find the end,
Okay.
and I take that piece off first,
Okay.
and then I just kind of one by one throw the coils down so that I know it's not going to get tangled when I go to start to use it. And then we're going to water that stall. I have got the nozzle turned off, okay? When it's going across the hose, it helps visually if you think about it. It's like there's a line across the hose that won't let water come out.
Okay.
So if you want to turn the water on, you turn the nozzle like this,
Okay.
so the water can flow. It kind of points. Water can come through. That's off. Okay. So when it's off, I can turn the faucet on. And then we take the hose to the stall and fill the bucket. You will learn very quickly that it's a good idea to put the hose down in the bucket,
Okay.
or you're going to get splashed. So you have the hose down in the bucket and turn the water on. We like people to fill the water up to the ridge on the bucket.
Okay.
If you fill it too high, the horses just spill it when they put their noses in, so you have a mess. If you don't fill it high enough, then they don't have enough water. So we fill it up to that ridge in the bucket. And it may look like the water is soapy, but that's just air in the hose.
Okay.
And up the hill. And then you have to turn and go up the ramp. And dump it in.
Okay.
It's a little slippery. And you want to make sure it's going in the spreader.
Okay.
Not on the outside of the spreader.
Okay. Okay. So after emptying the clean bedding into the stall, then you got to bring the.
You have to uncover the bedding first of all.
Okay.
And then when you're done, it's really important to cover it back up, because if it rains, we don't want it to get. Hang on. Just fill up the wheelbarrow with bedding. Some people like to use a shovel. I like to use the pitchfork.
So this is a complete stall. It's all clean. It's got the bedding banked on the side and the clean water, and it's swept underneath of the water, so the bedding is all in the middle.